of the Abbey with it all windows, huge pillars.
Methodist.
Yes,
They sell nice
little Methodist one.
there.
Sorry?
I said they sell really nice biscuits in the cafe.
Oh, I'm there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You nice meals there. Sarah, we'll have to go down when we're at them.
We'll have to go, won't
We'll
we?
have to go down.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
We've
go.
been down the left.
We'll get Craig to show us round.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Well, you've given us lots to talk about already, Craig. We like that. Because we often have difficulty finding things to talk about. We don't talk much.
Excuse me, you shouldn't lie.
How are you, Beryl? How was your week? And do you want to, I've forgotten where exactly you are.
What I want to know is why you couldn't get me on the phone.
Yeah, I tried phoning. I phoned like 4 times in the last week, at least 4 or 5 times. It kept ringing.
But didn't it go to answer phone?
No, it didn't go to answer phone.
Have you got the right number?
Yeah. I checked.
We're not being rude or anything, but I
No,
rang
no,
the
no.
number and all I got was no answer or anything like that.
Pressure, Harry.
No,
And it was, some
it's a
office
mystery.
that was closed.
Usually it comes up what calls I've missed, but it didn't even do that.
With your landline, I had your landline number, not a mobile.
I haven't got a mobile.
So, okay. I can check what your number is, but it's the same number. I asked
Sophie
for it as well, and she gave it to me as well, and it was the same one. So I.
Well, I expect I saw it and thought answering that one.
So
I don't know then.
I don't know either. Oh well, yeah, which is so. What have you been up to?
You'd have to tell me when you're going to call, and I'll have to make sure I'm not in the garden.
Okay, should I call?
Oh, right.
I can't hear it in the garden.
Should I give you a call tomorrow?
Yeah.
What time would suit you?
Will you tell me what time? Any time suits me.
Beryl, don't be coy. There's a young bloke asking to call you. Just say yes, get it. Crikey.
I phone you about 10 tomorrow, Beryl. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideal.
Another few years and he'll be past his prime and we won't want him. But at the moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting a bit past that anyway.
You get the other group.
I think I take that as a compliment, Stella.
Yeah, it's probably about as good a compliment as you're going to get.
Yeah. So, and I can introduce my manager as well here, Annabelle. I said last week that I've heard that she's great. So she'll fit right in.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Some of you I actually recognise from this time. Sue and Mark.
Oh.
I recognise the two of you from a previous call, right in the early days.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I've seen any of the others of you, and it's just really lovely. I said to the last group I was on, because Aggie's away, had gone to Poland, and so we kind of said, oh well, perhaps they could see another side of what you do being an artist. So Harry said, oh, that'd be great, come along to this group. But it's lovely for me because I'm normally always in the back room and you don't see me or know about me, because you've got lovely Harry and lovely Aggie and they're doing their thing. So it's really lovely for me to see all your faces and know who they're connecting with every week. So great.
Well, he's doing a very good job. We quite like him.
Good.
But you know, he's all. I mean, if that's all you've got, we have him. You know, that's brilliant. No, he's lovely. He puts up with it. We call us his harem, and yeah, and so
You can't say that now because we've got Craig with us.
That's all right. Craig can help him, and So yeah, you know, he puts up with
The
everything.
RE manager.
I just smile and nod most of the time, though.
Yeah, he does. You see that look he's got? That's what he does. When he knows he just can't win, he just sits,
Yeah.
which is actually really good. And if he ever gets married, he's got to remember that look. Because you know what I mean? So that when he knows he's on a losing streak, just sit like that.
Yeah. Perhaps that could be another week's event, ladies. Oh, and Craig too, obviously, as well. But maybe, you know, a bit of advice for Harry. You know, that, I mean, that...
Am I getting... What is this?
I don't know.
He won't open the shop, actually, if we go on at him a bit too much. Go on.
Well, we've got
You
one
just say,
Harry that's gone off the
we're
rails.
not having one this week until we all cool down.
Craig, I can see you've sensibly turned your camera off at this point because these ladies.
Has he?
Yes, he's not there. I don't know. I was looking for Craig.
Oh, maybe he's frozen.
Oh, I think he's frozen.
I think I'm frozen, yeah.
Okay,
I have to say, my connection's not very good today.
yeah, you're still with us, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Good. You're listening to this. I think you're going to have way too much fun on this group, myself. Good punch.
What's anyone else been up to this week before Annabelle do some drawing with us in it? Well, do you want to crack? Should we do drawing first or what? I don't know what's going on.
I don't mind.
Are we doing drawing?
We're doing drawing.
Oh, I'll get my pad out.
You don't have to do drawing if you want. You can chat the whole way through it.
Oh no, hang on a minute. Natalie's on one. Look, she's oh my lord.
He's our artist.
Yeah, she's our art. She's the one. Yeah.
Are you still watching the BBC, Natalie?
Well, it's finished now, but I did do. Did I show you? I showed you my pictures, didn't I, of all the
Yes.
news and everything? Yeah, from telly. That was good fun.
Did it
Drew a
help?
leg. Was it you drew? Did you draw a leg or did you draw more than a leg? I can't remember.
Harry.
No, you're right. I did. I did the. Hang on. I did the. That was like that was Narcissus.
Yeah.
Right, I remember that.
Do you remember that? What else have I got? Oh yeah, Venus. There's Venus. Can you see that?
Is that Venus's bottom?
Yes, there. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember.
she's a bit like me. She's seen better days, hasn't she?
I love about this. The last group, we had somebody who makes things, as Harry was saying, out of glass, and now we have life drawing on this one. I don't know why I'm here. I think you're brilliant. You're more than
Well, Natalie represents all of us, I think.
Well, it's like I said at the last group, I was saying that actually it's amazing if I go through and say how many of you do drawing or like drawing. Probably the majority will probably say to me, oh, I can't draw, I'm a rubbish drawer or whatever. And it normally stems back to school when you were told you were no good or you didn't feel engaged by it. But actually, the reality is if you've got anything, whether it's a piece of charcoal from your fireplace or a pencil or a brush or anything, and you can put it on a piece of paper and make a mark, you can actually draw. I think the problem is we all come with baggage of what we think is good drawing and what we think is bad drawing. But actually, it's more about the exercise of looking and understanding the world in a different way and exploring it on a piece of paper rather than necessarily coming out with something super, you know, Picasso or Rembrandt, you know. It's about just, you know, having that time to really look and engage with something. And I think at this time when we're all maybe, you know, like Brian was saying, you know, he's under strict instructions, he's got to stay in a certain place, and a lot of you are having to isolate. It's really nice to be able to have some time to take out and maybe look at the space you live in a little bit differently. So I was saying that maybe right now you could just see some object that's to hand that you could pick up. It might be a mug you're drinking out of. You might have a jar in front of you, or a flower, or I don't know, maybe whatever you could reach to hand. I've
Use your watch if you're wearing a watch, anything.
I've got.
Yeah.
How about chicken?
A chicken will do. I wasn't expecting somebody to say a chicken. That was slightly random. but you know. So if I show you what I found in my studio, just very quickly, now I hope I can show you this, but I found some old jars from my recycling, and I just put them together like that so that I can sort of talk you through a few things. So that's what I'm going to draw. So if we just kind of go through, and maybe you could all just show me your object. And of course, this is only a bit of fun, really. So pick up an object and show me what you're going to try and draw. Harry, what have you got now?
I've got an origami frog.
Can I tell you, at the last group, he picked up a scrunched up piece of paper, which wasn't hugely different than the origami frog, Harry.
That's mean.
Who else have we got here? Julia, what have you got in your
I've just got, it's a pencil sharpener.
Ah,
You know, it was given to me by my grandson when he was very small, and I keep it on my desk, and it's rather fun.
yeah, that would be a great thing to draw. Lots of
But I've got no artistic ability whatsoever.
Oh, see,
But it's just, it's beautiful colours.
saying.
Both.
And,
I'm going to do him.
oh, knitted dog. I like that.
That's Alfonso. You have to say it like that. Say Alfonso in West London, but it's Alfonso. Somebody made that for me after my doggy died, and so he sits on the back of the sofa. Gets squashed sometimes, but he's all right.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to draw that. It's lovely, Stella. Natalie, you got your chicken.
I've got my chicken, yeah.
And then who else have we got? Is anybody else going to do this? Beryl, are you going to draw today?
Yeah, I've got
Got a mug.
Who's this?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, Marge. Marge has got mug, lovely. Yeah, that's ideal. Sue got the same mug. So
Oh, right. Now
Hey,
this is
excuse me. You shouldn't talk
competition
about my
time.
friends like that.
Don't expect a prize for the best one.
right.
No.
Okay. And then Craig, are you going to draw your watch? Are you or?
I'll just sit and watch this time.
Watch. Okay. You can critique everything that's happening. And Beryl, are you going to also watch?
yes.
Okay, no problem. So if you just put your, if you now just put your object down in front of you, and what I want us to do first of all is make it really simple, because sometimes it can seem really complicated, you know, where am I going to start? And I want you to think in very simple terms about circles, squares, rectangles, cylinders, and look at your object. And imagine you've never seen it before. I said to the last group, imagine you're an alien that's just been plopped down in your sofa and you're looking at this thing, you've never seen it before. And so you've got to really explore what this thing is. And you're going to break it down now on your piece of paper into, you know, maybe there's circles on it. They might have a body that's like a rectangle or a cylinder. Or triangles, and just start to jot those things down on the piece of paper. And don't be too precious, just explore that on the piece of paper a little bit in those terms. And I was saying to the last group that, you know, when I say a circle, so here's a lid, for example, but obviously when it's in the drawing, it might not be all perfect circle. It might be slightly at an angle, so it becomes a sort of a more squashed circle. So, you know, look for shapes that are maybe you're going to have to draw a bit squashed, and that's called a circle in ellipse or a rectangle. So just to give you an idea, so when I was looking at my jars, this is just to help you kind of see what I mean, just as an outline drawing. You know, this is the lid, but if I had drawn the lid like that, well, it wouldn't fit properly. So I've had to twist it a bit, and then you can see how I've got that circle and ellipse. And for the lady that's drawing the pencil sharpener, you've almost got lots of little circles with ridges. And if you can see how I've done my jar here, you can see that, you know, I've got the same cylinder shape, but there's like ridges of circles. So you sort of draw your triangle And then you can draw the circles and ellipses all the way down, will always follow each other in the same circle.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
I thought I'd do it on the side,
That's great.
sideways on.
Yeah. That just gives you an idea what I mean. So we're just drawing the outline first, and we're trying to make it look like it's sitting on the ground. You might want to put in a line to help you know the difference between where the ground is and where the background is. And that just helps you to kind of place these things and make them have sense that they're sitting on something. And I appreciate, you know, for some of you, I mean, that I can already start seeing smoke coming out some of your heads. Your brains are thinking really hard now. You're being made to look in ways you've never had to before. Something you've looked at every day and never had to explore it. And I think that's the lovely thing about drawing. You can engage with just a small little something that's in your environment that you would not normally have had to really examine before. I love drawing. For me, it really helps me kind of feel quite grounded and understand the world, and it's good for my mental health. And most of the time, the drawings I do are rubbish. I've got to tell you, most of them I'd probably put in the bin, but still the exercise of drawing is really, it's a great thing to do. You're all very quiet.
Well, we're doing as you're telling us.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
You finished yours, have you, Harry?
You were
Just
so
finished.
earlier. I'm amazed. It's like with my children when I'm feeding them at tea time. They're like nearly killing each other, and then you put the dinner down on the table, and then it's quiet for like 2 minutes, and then they go back to killing each other again. So this is you guys. You're having a moment of quiet. So Harry, how's yours looking right now? Perhaps we should just have a little
Oh, see.
tap in. Yeah, I want to see how yours is coming along. Bring it closer up again. Oh, I can't see it now. Where's it gone? Okay.
The light's a bit dodgy. Can you see?
Yes, just.
I draw it with heavy lines. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. For the fact that we're recording, and that's what I did with mine, I actually drew the outline quite strong so that I felt you would be able to see it. But it is really, so it can be hard because, you know, the bit you're trying to get this thing on a flat surface to look three-dimensional. And just to give you some background for myself, I always knew I wanted to be an artist. I remember being in primary school and my teacher saying to me, you know, what you're going to be when you grow up, and everyone else were going to be policemen and doctors and the Prime Minister and all these things. And I said, I'm going to be an artist. And everyone looked at me thinking that's a bit mad.
Better?
I wanted to be an actress, but nothing happened.
Did you go?
I wanted to be a nun.
Be a nun?
Well, that was a bit of a non-starter, so love.
Wanted to be a.
As you wanted
archaeologist,
to be called Penelope as well.
Harry, did you say you
I haven't chosen this chicken.
were an archaeologist?
I wanted to be an archaeologist. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you
Why didn't you?
the objects you found?
You still could be.
Maybe. I find the history really interesting, but the whole like dusting for an hour to unearth an inch of
You have to have a lot of patience.
mosaic or whatever, it doesn't.
Yeah, that'd drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
That's yeah.
And all the dirt.
Be called Penelope. Was that when I was younger? I wanted to be called Penelope. Who said
You called Penelope.
I did.
Oh,
you did?
I thought Harry.
Not Harry.
Yeah.
Not Harry.
What about you, Beryl? What did you want to be when you were young?
I wanted to be a children's nurse.
Oh, nice.
And I
I
ended
wanted
up,
to be a lighthouse keeper.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's brilliant.
I would have
Very
liked that.
brave.
Yeah. Never happened, unfortunately, but never mind.
I think most of these things, when we're younger and we say what we want to be, don't actually. Don't
Oh, it
actually.
did for me. No, I always wanted to be a nurse.
Right, and you were a nurse.
Yes.
I
Well, I
was
did
gonna,
my
I was gonna,
training.
I was going to do nursing. I went to a school that did a pre-nursing course, and then I went off the boil a bit with it, really. But no, I would have liked to have been an actress or in like musicals, you know, because I sing a lot, so not particularly well, but I sing a lot.
Can you dance, Stella?
I used to when I was younger, when I wasn't as fat as I am now. I used to, I do a bit of amateur, well, not a bit, quite a bit of amateur theatre. So I've got sort of rid of some.
You'll have to let the group know when you're doing one of your amateur performances.
Not anymore.
Every day, every day.
His critic is David, her husband.
Yeah.
Annabelle, good job. Stella and I are the best of friends.
We are.
We were.
Is anybody going to show me what they've got so far on their pieces of paper? Let's just have a little look at what we've got. We've seen Harry's amazing origami.
Oh, mine's terrible. It's not...
Very exciting, mine
That's
is.
good, Julia.
Yeah, you're really
Well,
good to deal with the circles and ellipse. I can see that.
Oh, hang on, I
Stella.
haven't coloured him in.
Well, it
Who else have we
kind of
seen?
make it look like 3D a bit.
Yes,
but,
absolutely. Marge, let's have a look at Marge's then. You could bring your paper.
I don't think you can see it.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
So again, if we all just look at Marge's picture, you can see that
You can see it.
you can see the cylinder shape with the circle and ellipse at the top.
Yeah.
Marge, what I'd like you to think about with that is the circle and the ellipse at the bottom, because you've used your brain, because you know it sits down flat, you've given it a straight line at the base. But actually, if you look carefully, that circle and ellipse will follow the cylinder shape from the top, will also follow along the base, so the same circle of ellipse will apply. So if you just give it a bit of shape, you'll suddenly see the object sitting much better in your page. But that is looking good. So who else have we got? Stella, come on, let's see the knitting.
Hang about, I'm just knitting a row on here. Hang on.
What about you, Natalie? What have we got?
I'll show you in a minute. I'm just trying to draw.
Oh, I'm not going to show you it after Natalie's because she's flipping good.
Honestly, it's rubbish, Stella. It's rubbish.
I bet it won't be.
I should
Who
have
cares?
something that was already.
Mine's little.
Let's look.
That's good.
All right, fine.
Good.
That's the real thing.
What do I say? No, is
So,
that...
you know,
I can't.
shut up, Harry.
Harry,
Hey.
I can actually see it then because it keeps going on to another. Right.
You need to put your gallery view on, Annabelle.
Oh, gallery view. Ah, okay.
My poor little pencil sharpener looks as someone sat on it.
I haven't
I'm
grounded
going to pull it out.
We've
I got the proportions wrong.
Sue, let's now see what your cup looks like.
I was going to do that,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and it ended up like that.
Right. So,
Well, that's all right.
That's all right.
yeah.
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 That's right, yeah.
And
It
you've
looks
already
like a shower head.
shading. You've already done shading. Now this is what Harry did to me at the last one. Doing shading. I was going to show you some shading in a minute, but it's good.
Oh,
Like the object. Looks like the object. Come on, Natalie. You're even doing proper pencil measuring there.
Well, it's only because I'm trying to do, you know, something. Oh, it's just terrible.
Please show us.
Look.
Oh,
No,
That's
right.
good.
oh,
Oh my lord. That's what I say. I'm staying here. That's it. Don't ever go after Natalie.
No, it's terrible, honestly. I
It's
wish I'd chosen.
It's not.
I should have done my
Okay.
sewing machine or something.
Why is it that everybody, we're all so super critical? I mean, mine's rubbish because I'm not an artist, but I make greetings cards, which is nothing, you know, I'm not at all artistic. And at school, on my report for art and craft, I had stellar tries. That was the best I got. And somehow, about 20 years ago, I discovered card making with a friend of mine. And I've not looked back. I've got a whole room full of stuff. And I absolutely love it. I wouldn't call myself artistic at all, but it's my take on doing things. But
You're very good at it.
It depends what you mean by artistic.
But I put one card in the
Yeah.
bin this week because I didn't like the look of it. My daughter always tells me off for putting them in the bin. And yeah, other people go, oh, that's really lovely. I really so we're all very super critical, I think, of everything we do.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to hopefully help you realise with drawing, that you don't have to be, you know, everyone's going to be a different standard, but it's more about engaging and looking. And it's quite a mindful thing, and it quietens everything down, and you're focusing on a very simple basic principles when you're looking at an object. You know, you're thinking about the next step would be, which actually some of you have done automatically, which is quite interesting, but it's thinking about, now you've got your outline drawn, is then you go on to think about, well, where is the light? Because it's the light that makes something look three-dimensional. Okay, so if we just go back very quickly to my objects, you can see, looking at those objects, the light source is coming from the far side and it's casting shadows, isn't it? And that it's going to affect how we think about something. So, you know, so for example, with this picture here, if the light source is coming from this direction, coming in and hitting them here, we know then that all of the sides of the containers on this side are gonna be in shadow, and we know that the shadows are going to come out, you know, all on this side here. If the light's coming behind the objects, we know that the shadows are going to come forwards here. But once you start to put shadows onto your page where the light's hitting your object, you suddenly ground and give gravity to your objects, and you make them not just lines, you make them have a three-dimensional quality. So when you do shading, it's very different. When you draw, you kind of draw from 3/4 way at the pencil with your pinching fingers you're taught at school. When you shade, you come up and you lay it into the hollow of your fingers here and have a longer arm, and you almost can go from your elbow. It's not a twiddly or colouring in type of thing. It's a much more fluid movement. And when you do that, you tend to always keep it in the line of the object. So I know this is kind of going from top to bottom and it's flat there. And it helps if you shade it in relation to the surface of it. So under here, you know, I'm thinking about the surface it's laying on. I'm actually going to do it in the line of the horizon. So if I just do that a minute, and it'll give you an idea what I mean. So I've very scribbled that, but as you see, here's the horizon line. I've actually done my lines of shade in keeping with the horizon line. So it's retelling your brain that this is flat, and it's on the same flatness as your horizon. And then if I was going to do the lid, let's find, or a surface on this side here. So let's say there, I've kind of kept it in line with the cylinder. So for those of you that have done mugs where you've got the same principle, you can run it from dark to light, and you can then maybe sometimes use rubbers for where the light's hitting. These are jars, so I have the complication of having shadows within the objects too, because they're transparent. So maybe just have a go now at trying to make your object sit down and have some gravity by doing shading. I know, Natalie, you've kind of done that as a natural way of making, but sometimes it's nice to break it down to help and also all of these kind of ways of thinking about drawing, whilst they're key principles, you can use them or you can discard them. You make up the rules for how you're making your drawing. And so when while you're doing that, when I first started to draw, I always had a key principle. And that was why I was saying, imagine you've never seen your object before and be an alien and look at it for the first time and not know it's a chicken or not know it's a knitted dog or whatever it is, or a pencil sharpener. Actually, I wouldn't have known yours was a pencil sharpener, so I would have had to explore it a bit more. But key principle was to draw what I see and not what I know. And once I kept telling my eyes not to let my brain get involved and only look and only respond with my drawing hand, then I started to draw very differently, because it was the exercise of looking. Drawing is about the exercise of looking and imagining the world in a different way. And then hopefully, even after this, while we're all in lockdown, maybe the houses you live in or the gardens you have, what space you are actually currently permitted to occupy, perhaps you should take a little walk around those spaces again and imagine, I'm going to take a different look at my space I occupy. And you will probably find you will discover things that have always been there, but you've never really seen. So I'll let you, how are we getting on with the shading? So you discerned where your light source is, and now you're starting to think about shading and holding your pencil maybe in a different way. Putting in your shade. So Harry, let's see your amazing origami with shading now. So you put the shading under the thing. Are you able to put a horizon line in so I can kind of see?
I did. Oh, you can't see the horizon.
Yeah, no, I can't see the horizon. And that sometimes that kind of helps for us to know where is the ground and where is it receding into. Now I'm an abstract artist, but the same principles of drawing. Okay, yes, I can see it's sort of more sitting now, isn't it? It's better than the last one. You've improved in the last hour.
Thanks. Want to see my last one?
Harry.
That's my last one.
There's
What's
What
that?
do you make of all of this, Craig? Oh, yes, I can see Marge. Yes, let's have a look at your mug. Let's see, did you change the bottom of it? But yeah, and I can see you've got your shading. So now we can see, I can see that is actually starting to really sit. It's not like a floating, liney thing anymore. It now looks like an object on a surface. So that's great. Well done. Are you pleased with that, Marge?
Yeah, better than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise ourselves, can't we? Julia, how's your pencil sharpener then, now that you've had to deal with shading on all those ridges on your pencil sharpener?
I'm not sure, because I wanted to get light on it, and obviously I've only got a pencil to work it with, but I was pretty light down, so I've got shading at one side. I can't see.
And it gives it a bit more depth, doesn't it, by having
Yes.
that?
Stella, sorry, Julia, if you draw some bees above it, it would look like a beehive in my mind.
Yes, I know. It looks like that, doesn't it? I did wonder when my grandson gave it to me what it was. I mean, let's be honest, that's all it was. And then I suddenly realised, but it's lovely. Yes, I need some bees on it. Yeah.
That's really good, what you did.
Sue, how are you looking with your light?
Well, I've just
Oh,
put,
my.
did you say Sue or Stella?
Sue.
Sue.
Oh, a load
How's
of
your
rubbish.
light, love?
A load of rubbish.
Can't quite see.
Oh,
Okay.
no, that's all right, Sue. Yeah.
What I like about that, when you see my other work, you're going to appreciate that what you've done there is you've taken something that is really real that we know, but what we understand with drawing is a really key principle. The minute you pick up a pencil and you try, even if you were going to try to make it like the most incredible digital photograph ever, it can never be the actual object. You know, anything is instantly removed from the object, so it's only ever going to be a representation at best. But what can happen is when you really start to move away from representing, you come into a space of abstraction where you're not completely abstract because you've had an object, but gradually you've reduced it right down to the basic principles of circles and patterns and lines. And it might not completely represent the object, but it's still doing something. And I think that is still doing something, almost like slightly.
Oh, thank you.
I like that. And then how are we doing with the knitted dog, Stella?
Well, he hasn't got any shadow, but I've done a little bit of blue at the bottom so that, oh, you can't see it. So that he's actually, can you see? So that he's actually standing grounded.
Yes.
Rather than floating in the air.
Yeah. He's actually now stood up. So you've almost given him some gravity. Like
yeah. He needs a lamp post now and then we're all right.
Yeah.
His legs.
Very good. So who have we got? Natalie, yes, let's have a look at the chicken. I mean, you had started to do this. So you've given it some weight there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Good, isn't it?
Good. Very good.
She's
amazing.
been practicing with the BBC.
Yeah, excuse me, teacher, can she get taken out, please? Because she's like a professional.
Very bad. Go away. We don't want proper chicken.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think it's fair, miss.
No, we don't want
In absolute real life. I thought do you know what I thought was really useful when you were just saying about the direction of the shading? Because that's something I've never really heard of before, but I just tried it then and it's definitely more effective.
Yeah, it does, isn't it? It's a subtle thing because you're having to think about everything as a surface and you're translating surface onto basically a flat surface. Yeah. So you're not only translating what the light's doing and the space it's sitting within. So this is why we have the horizon and we could walk around these objects if we wanted to. We understand that because we've given a surface, we've got the push down of gravity so that we understand they're sitting on something. But we're also dealing with lots of surfaces and we are trying to convey those and we need to use every resource we've got. So when you're shading, by thinking about the direction of the surface and how you do that, actually only further communicates the direction of the surface, the direction of the light on this surface. I hope I'm not being too complicated. Basically, the way you scribble the line actually makes a difference. So, you know, if in the middle I wanted to put a shading in the middle of this jar and I did it that way, it sort of cuts into the middle of it, you see. Whereas we know that surface is going across this way. So if I shade it in the direction of the surface, it makes more sense to the circleness of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for picking up on that, Natalie. So this is the same thing I did for the other group, just to give you, you know, that was the same drawing, but I had just got on with doing a bit more shading in that one, just to give you an idea. And again, you can kind of see and how there were shadows starting to happen within the objects. So I hope, you know, as a little exercise, that's given you food for thought to maybe after this, kind of maybe think about going around your living spaces. And even if you don't draw, maybe think about them and look at them differently. And then I think you'll discover things that will intrigue you about the spaces you live in that you've just taken for granted. And I would just advocate, if you do have a pencil, just sit down, take 10 minutes and try and understand it in a whole new way. So with that in mind, I wanted to just, if you're happy to me to keep going on, if we move away from you doing drawing, I could quickly show you some different ways we can think about what drawing is. So there's always the big question, what is art? But I would like us to think about what drawing can be. And I showed a few pieces of work, and they're not like they're brilliant pieces of work or anything. A lot of work I do isn't, but it's really, for me, it's about how I think about what I'm making. My work's very much about the process of making stuff. So this is, like I said, when I first started drawing, I would have done life drawing, and I've moved away from that. So I'm going to very quickly, because I know we're running out of time, show you different things. So this is the same principle. I've taken an object, a small little object you can find in your garden, and I've thought about line, and I've looked at shadow and light and tone, okay? So you could take anything you find in your garden and explore it. But then Harry was talking about sketching on our last thing, and I like just doing little sketches. So this is a print, and it's a very quick 30-second sketch, which I've done with lithography and then made it into a print. And again, my source for that might have been a tree. I can't even remember, but it doesn't look like a tree. And that's where I was talking to Sue about her light, that, you know, we critique ourselves too heavily. Now, this is drawing, for me it is anyway, where I've taken shapes and I've made cutouts, and I've made, instead of using a pencil, I've used clay to paint with. And even though it doesn't look like an object, I'm using the same principles. This is something that, you know, in our last class, somebody did a plant, and I showed her this again, in painting terms, trying to think about an object, whether it's a pineapple or a plant in a vase, I don't know, but thinking about, you know, what we've just been doing there. And then we could go on to something that doesn't really look like anything, but it's all about pattern, color, texture, all those sorts of things. And it makes a sort of a thing in its own right that doesn't really exist, but it's based on things are how I imagine stuff. So that's, in a nutshell, bits and pieces that I do in my studio. It's not necessarily indicative of what I do, but I wanted to give you an idea of what drawing can be. And that's it. And I hope you've enjoyed just...
Thank you, Annabelle. That was good.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. It's just that last picture, Annabelle, reminded me of when people do quilting, they take a bunch of fabrics, don't they? My daughter can do it, I can't, but you know, and they just buy them, put them together, lay them out, sort them out, and there is a beautiful quilt, but you can't actually pin down quite where the pattern is going or what it is, and it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Mama, you have to know what you're doing, and I presume my daughter did it by trial and you know, this sort of thing, and you've got various books that can help you. But I've got a beautiful one that's only about 4 foot square to go on a bed, and it's flying geese. And when you say flying geese, you can see it immediately because of the shapes. But they're all just pieces of brown material with different colours on them.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I can really relate to tapestries and rugs and all of those sorts of things, because you know, for me it's all melted down to things, like I said, texture, pattern, shape, color, you know, key principles. And it's like I said, when you make a piece of work, you make up the rules that you want to take out of your art box to make a piece of work, and by that you can assess whether you feel it's doing the things you want it to do. So thank you for that. That was lovely. I've enjoyed myself anyway. So I'm going to hand back over to Harry. And what's happening next week, Harry? What's the
Seamless. Yeah. So I'm going on a little camping trip this weekend. So I'm not going to be about next Tuesday. So we were going to try and join it with Aggie's group again at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
I know it was difficult for yourself, Natalie, and for different reasons, but I'll send out another code and make sure you get it this time, Julia. Sorry.
I've got it, haven't I? I've got it now, haven't I? I've got painting. It'd be the same one, won't it?
It will be,
yes.
but I'll send it out anyway to everyone.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're going to just do another.
Where are you camping?
Thank you.
Are you going anywhere nice?
I haven't decided yet. Probably just North Devon, just somewhere near this.
Oh, lovely.
That'd be nice.
Maybe Bude or somewhere there as well. I don't know, but I think.
Oh, go surfing.
Yeah.
Go surfing.
Something like that. Yeah. Simple.
You're not going on your own, are you?
No, probably with my housemate, and then there's one or two other people that we're trying to.
That's good.
See what people are doing.
Don't go surfing on your own.
No.
Yeah, it's got more sense.
It's dangerous. I don't like it.
Yeah. So they're going to do a quiz next week and at 2:00. We only probably need 2 people to think of questions because they're going to think of questions as well. So would anyone be happy to think of 5 questions, like general knowledge questions for the quiz for next week?
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it. Oh yeah, so you can do it. That's it, sorted.
Who was decided?
Sue.
Sue.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You said, didn't you, Sue?
That's mine.
Anyone else? I suppose one more if anybody.
Your vote is it? Go on, Stella.
Shall I do it with you, Sue, as well?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. They'll all be filthy questions, so that'll be good. Yeah, well, no,
I'm hoping to come along to this, too. So I hope they're not too filthy.
No, they won't be.
That's very sensitive.
Not for someone your age, madam.
No, it's right. We're very good. We're old people. We don't understand that stuff.
I'm rubbish at quizzes. The last one we did for work at Christmas, I quietly had my phone underneath and I was trying to Google the answers without anybody.
That's not allowed.
Very bad behaviour.
Well, that's dreadful.
This will be very serious next week, and if we see any of that Googling going on.
No, we're not having any of that. We're having no cheating. So yes, Sue will do some and I'll do some. Is that all right, Sue?
Yeah. Yeah,
Julia,
fine.
Julia as well. That'd be smashing.
I don't mind. I'm easy,
Yeah,
well, we know that.
All right, folks. Well, it's a shame, Craig and Beryl. I hope you still enjoyed it without joining.
Yeah, been good.
Yeah. Come and join us again, Craig.
Come next week.
We'll be able to next
Come
week.
for the quiz. Come for the quiz next week.
Depends what time my support time is, because I have it sometimes in the afternoon for half an hour.
Okay. You can go halfway through as well, so you can join at any time. Don't need to join it.
It's 2:00, is it?
2:00.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Folks, well, lovely to
And
see
you, Beryl.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, and you.
Bye.
Annabelle.
Nice to see you, Annabelle.
Have a good time, Harry.
Have a lovely time,
Have a
Harry.
lovely time, Harry.
Bye, folks.
Enjoy
Bye-bye.
yourself.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.